honored guests, good evening. How many of you own a house? How many of you have had appliances break down? Is there anyone out there who wants to tear their hair out when this happens? I'm a first-time homeowner, and I'm constantly perplexed when appliances malfunction and I have to figure out how to fix them. Of course, it had to happen last week when my family had just arrived in town. My parents and brother are visiting me for a few weeks to see the new house. I was doing the laundry one evening when I found water dripping onto my dryer from the ceiling. I got my ladder out, I went up into the attic. I discovered that part of my AC system sits up directly above my laundry room. It's a large steel box. I mentioned this to my coworker, Mark, the next morning. In typical male fashion, he said, "Guys would just know how to fix it." Most guys don't need a home warranty. Guys don't need to look it up. Whatever, Mark. I went back to my desk and looked it up. It turns out a condenser cools down the air in your duct. As it does this, it also condenses out the humidity in the air, which collects below the unit as water. I called the home warranty company. They said they'd send someone out to fix it, but they'd cover no expenses related to the condenser. I decided, that's fine. I'll get the service contractor out, but I need to go up there and survey the damage myself. That way I don't get taken advantage of. Interestingly enough, Mark offers to help. I can come over and look at it with you on the weekend, if you like. I take him up on his offer. It's Saturday morning. I tell my roommate, Tiffany, I don't want to take up too much of Mark's time, so I'm going to go up there and see what I can before he gets here. I go up into the attic again. I find there's a large board in front of the unit to sit on. I unscrew the front cover. Below the unit, there's a tray that collects the excess water. Well, the water level in the tray is clearly below the rim in the front. What's more, the floorboards in front of the unit are completely dry. It's got to be leaking from the back, I think. Well, behind the unit, there's cross beams, fiberglass insulation, and not a lot of space to be sitting and looking at the corner. I think, let me crawl over to the opposite corner and see what I can. So, I'm perched on the beam. I have my one hand on the unit. I've got my flashlight in the other hand. I'm leaning over, but I can't quite see that corner. I think, if I could just lean a little further, I shift my weight by moving my feet. All of a sudden, my knees are on the drywall. In a split second, I recognize that the drywall underneath me is completely soaking wet. In that same second, I know that every piece of drywall underneath me has crumbled. All of a sudden, I have a totally different view of Tom Petty's song, "I'm free, free falling." I think to myself, so this is what free fall feels like. And then I think, I wonder what part of the house I land in. Is there anything sharp in that closet? And then I think, this is the end of my life as I know it. I will either die or lose a limb and be a paraplegic for life. This is one of the moments in my life when everything slowed down. I could hear my dad in the background. He was in the kitchen asking my mom, "Is Minosha still up in the air?" And boom! My brother said, I think the AC unit just My mom, my dad, my brother, and Tiffany all rushed over to the laundry room closet and opened the door. And there I was, laying on my side on the dryer, covered with bits of soggy ceiling, and looking at them. Oh, thank God, my mother said. The AC unit's okay. I tried moving my limbs. I found I could still move. I got myself checked out. I was okay, except for a few bruises on my arms and legs. Mark came over later that weekend. We took a look at the unit together, and guess what the solution was? We blew through a drain pipe. This removed the clog in the drain pipe and fixed the leak. No problem. My bigger issue is, I now have a hole in my ceiling that's shaped like this. As I always say though, I learned so much in the process that, shall we say, it was worth all the ups and downs.